Welcome to the Your Leadership Legacy podcast. My name is Tina Paulus-Krause, and I'm so excited to bring you this next podcast dedicated to you high performers out there who want to reinvent yourself, reinvent your business, maybe your career, all of it. This podcast is all about being dedicated to transformation and being the best possible leader of yourself and others that you can be in order to create a legacy that lives on. Welcome to Your Leadership Legacy. My name is Tina Paulus-Krause. I am the founder and CEO of True You Teams. And here we go. Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Tina Paulus-Krause, and we are doing an online series called Your Leadership Legacy. And I am very, very excited today because we have a guest on with us that I've been watching over the last year or so. I saw Sina speak at a Gamma function at the LAMP conference last year, and I was also a speaker there. And since then, I've been connected to him on social media and all this kind of stuff. And I've just watched you. And when I was thinking about who am I going to have on this series, your name just popped up because you are fearless. And I love how you just kind of go out into the world and spread your joy and your happiness. And I've just been very, very impressed with you. So please introduce yourself and kind of tell anyone who's listening about you and your leadership journey.
Sure, Tina. Well, thank you so much. And I appreciate all the compliments. You said I'm fearless, and I just wanted to correct you. I'm not. I'm very much driven by fear, and I use it as my greatest motivator. So my leadership journey began when I was probably 8 or 9 years old. I'm not exaggerating. I was the one that was gathering my friends to help influence their parents to do whatever we wanted to do as a group so we can get it done. Because when the pressure was created at the parent level, then you were making some good headway. On a professional scale, though, I ventured off into entrepreneurship at the age of 23. I'm 39 now, so for the last 16 years, I've been a full commission earner in the financial services arena, which includes insurance services as well as real estate. I'm one of the few that I think brings real estate together under the same umbrella as financial services. Right. For great financial advisors to do a full needs analysis or assessment of their client's portfolio and then uncovering real estate needs, but not being able to do anything with them was very odd to me when I learned about financial services. So out the gate, I joined the industry with an insurance license as well as real estate license to be able to help my clients in both capacities. Yeah, I love that. That really makes you a differentiator. I noticed that right off the bat because you're bringing both of those worlds really together. So I imagine that there's a leadership journey that goes along with that. The name of this series is Your Leadership Legacy, and it's been in my heart for a while now because the evolution of leadership has changed dramatically. Right? We're like constantly connected. There's change on a constant basis. It's just a different world that we live in, and leadership has evolved in the same way. So talk to me about how you've evolved your leadership over time. Well, for me to consider evolving my leadership over time, it's been mainly due to the influence of those that I've been leading. And it changes depending on the environment that we're currently at. However, in the current era that we're currently experiencing, it's given us a chance to communicate like you and I are right now from two different places immediately, live real-time feedback via video, which in essence has also expanded one's leadership ability to reach a greater mass. So I've definitely evolved. It started off by building a unit, smaller team in financial services back in 2004 or 2005 after a couple of years of learning the business myself, bringing a couple of people that are going to help me expand and grow the vision. And as you start to influence other people to become great leaders with you, that snowball effect starts to take sort of a life of its own, which has been a blessing for me to be a part of. And we've just constantly adapted with the change. Right now it's, in my opinion, the millennial era. A lot of people undermine them or try to just go on stereotypes of what their characteristics or label them based on certain work ethic that's falsified. However, they are the most significant, strongest generation to exist. It fires me up because I'm a millennial, and it's just exciting because all my clients and practice was built off of working with those much older than me, specifically baby boomers. My average client when I started in the industry was 72 years old. So I know all about Medicare, long-term care, and gerontology and aging. However, I've been able to connect and build a workforce with those that are in their mid-20s to mid-30s that have really just brought a lot of fire, excitement, and change. So
Right. So you're like building leaders of leaders, right? Like that's really, when I think about the true definition of leadership and the true definition of a leader, it's the ability to build leaders of leaders. And so I love that you are focusing on the millennials. What is leaving a leadership legacy mean to you?
well, leaving a leadership legacy to me, first of all, I live legacy, and everything that I do is not about the end product when it comes to money or any type of material facts. I always think about the relationships, and all that's going to be left behind is how we're remembered through those relationships, through the impact we made on other individuals, not the assets we were able to accumulate, not all the toys we were able to have, but how we made other people feel, how we left them when we're not around. And leadership legacy to me is creating an impact that allows other people to be inspired to do more than you did for them, for others.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a skill set. So how is that skill set of building leaders or the skill sets that I need as a leader, how has that changed over time?
You know, I believe everyone could choose to become a great leader. And I know that we focus on a lot of self-development books of how to be better, how to train our mindset, what habits to put in place. But ultimately, in my opinion, it comes down to sacrifice. And the greatest leaders are going to sacrifice their own gains for the greater good of the team or the mission versus their own short-term, success.
Right.
And it really just comes down to how much you're willing to do for others to be able to achieve that together.
Yeah. So it's not about you anymore. I think old school leadership, it probably was about you. And now moving forward, it's really easy for people, in a leadership position to get lost and get stuck. So I don't know if you know kind of what I mean when I say that, but life is moving fast. There's a lot going on. We are busy, busy, busy. There's information coming at us in all directions. And so it's really, really easy, whether you have a title as a leader or not, when we even talk about self-leadership, it's really, really easy to get stuck. So what do you do as a leader of leaders to help your team move through that getting stuck?
I've been very fortunate because if I have been stuck, I've done everything in my power to not let it slow me down or really be the factor that I've been focused on. And one of the attributes that I give to preventing being in that scenario is listening to your people. It's very important that, I ask myself a few questions every single day. One is, would I follow me? Would you follow you? You got to ask yourself that question. In other words, if you were to replicate your impact, would that be better for the organization? Would it be stagnant or would it be negative? And we got to be honest with ourselves. So, would you follow you? And when you can answer that question honestly, and if the answers are no, you're going to identify ways to make that answer a yes. And what I've identified is by listening to the people that I serve, listening to the people that are in it, holding the rope, that are in it to win the mission, to accomplish our goals, to exceed what it is that we set out to do. We know collaboratively that we will achieve so much more by working together than we do individually. And the greatest leaders are going to make it very apparent through their actions.
Mm-hmm. I think that millennials get that piece more than any of the other generations. They get that team piece. I see just in 22 years in corporate, as millennials came into the workforce, and now you've got several generations in the workforce, it's been difficult, right? It's caused conflict on teams because we don't understand, because we're so used to working on individual accountability. And now we've got this team atmosphere, and there's people that don't understand how to work in the team atmosphere, and so that's where some of that kind of conflict comes from. So what I love about what you're doing is you're really building that millennial base, which is all about teams, and then everybody kind of can really create more. So part of the title of this series is creating an unstoppable team. So what else, in addition to what you just talked about, if there's somebody that's listening and they're really stuck in their leadership and they've got a team of people that aren't performing, that aren't doing, what the team needs to have done to get the results that they need, what does a leader do in that case? What advice would you give to that leader to really help that team move forward?
These are awesome questions, Tina. And I do want to make it very clear, though we work and my focus is partnering up with the millennial generation, we welcome and have all different age groups part of our company, especially the real estate division. There is a lot of old school success in that industry that we still utilize and need to learn from. So we
Great
never
point.
stop learning and welcome that. I do want to touch based on why it is the millennials have so much more of a welcoming to this team approach or team environment. And my assessment has been that many of them have not been welcomed to the workforce like their previous generations. They've kind of been brought in with already a negative stigma or this expectation that they're selfish or expect to have what we call microwave mindset, wanting things right away instantly. And those that don't believe in those stereotypes that are millennials have learned to gravitate, coming together, pulling together, and recognizing the strength in numbers. So I do just want to share that with you. I'm the founder of the Millennials Leadership Network, which is exactly for this purpose. You can learn more about the organization at millennialslead.com. It's bringing together millennials all over the globe that have one another's back, that want to be a connection, that want to be a mentor, and help elevate the skill set and leadership that's available to the workforce for this generation.
That's amazing.
Now you mentioned the question, the original question you said was, what do we do as a leader if we feel that our team is stuck or not elevating to exceeding the goals that are put at hand? And I'll tell you the greatest way to break that, I guess, routine or that challenge or that barrier is really to drill down and identify what more you can do, what more you need to do as a leader to provide more value for your team, or identify what more you could do to bring the team together to synergize on one another's talents and be able to provide value to one another. And as a leader, that's our job. That's our responsibility, is to serve their success as a team. And that's what I think the conflict is. Many leaders, they get caught up in the metrics of where they rank amongst their peers, where they rank in their organization, where they rank for their office, for their number. And it's not about the rank amongst the greater good. It's about the rank within your organization. How are we doing as a team compared to ourselves?
Yeah, that hierarchy thing, you know, when we talk about old school leadership and stuff like that, hierarchy was just so prevalent in that. And now we talk about leadership, and it doesn't mean that you have to have a title. That's like the biggest thing when I go out and I'm talking to people about leadership. It's like, well, I don't have a title. It doesn't matter. You lead yourself every day. So my question going into that is, when I talk about leading yourself and being the best leader of yourself, being the best coach of yourself, what are some of the things that you do to stay on top of that?
First thing is I practice gratitude. Remind yourself how good you got it. Every one of us got it great, especially if you're fortunate and blessed to be able to watch this type of video or listen to this type of content. You are already more blessed than the rest of the globe. I mean, it's amazing how we take the smallest of things that have such a great impact for granted. So I'm definitely focused on gratitude. Second is valuing people. People is our greatest resource. Check your ego at the door. So many individuals, they want to carry what they used to do or how they used to do it or how great they used to be, or, you know, whatever it is that in our own minds we assume or we assess, but have not been able to correlate that through action through our team. We need to get out that funk. And those are some of the greatest challenges. I think ego is the #1 breaker for some of the good leaders to become great leaders.
Yeah, totally hear that. And that's tough. I mean, even in my own journey with being in corporate for 22 years, the ego was tough when I had to really kind of own up to some of the behaviors that I had going on that weren't super healthy and all that kind of stuff. Like, you have to really own what you own and be accountable to that. And when we're living in that rat race, we don't think about those kinds of things. So what is your best part about what's that? What's the best part about?
I agree with you. You're right.
Yeah, best part about leadership and the hardest part.
The best part about leadership is taking a newbie or someone who is very green, intimidated, scared, and you already see the potential in them that they don't. And through action and time, witnessing their journey, breaking barriers and becoming a greater person and value to society than maybe they even had the impression on being capable of achieving. That's the greatest feeling. Seeing individuals accomplish goals, life goals, personal, professional goals, and being able to witness that as a leader is the greatest feeling. It's priceless.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. How about the hardest part?
The hardest part is seeing failure in some individuals. It's also lonely. They say that it's lonely at the top. I agree to a certain extent. There's a lot of leaders that you can connect with in this era that makes it a lot less lonely. However, within the specific organization you're leading, it could be a lonely place. A lot of responsibility falls in your shoulder. You end up making and calling the final decision that you hope is in the best interest of everyone, but in many times it can turn into a learning lesson.
Yeah.
And those are some of the toughest moments. Just, I guess, overcoming or failing forward, though we need it and it is a blessing to be a part of. It's also pretty tough to swallow.
Yeah, so you mentioned two things there that really caught my attention, the failure piece and the vulnerability piece. So when we talk about leadership and leaving a leadership legacy, how does vulnerability play into that?
Well, the more vulnerable you are, in my opinion, the more opportunity you're placing for yourself to grow. However, it's a tremendous amount of risk. And I believe that as you develop as a leader through experience, through pain, through failure, through learning lessons, through mistakes, you will start to identify how vulnerable you could be in certain scenarios and play them in your favor.
Yeah, I love that. The whole failure thing, I think if we look at the past, sometimes the mentality is if I fail, like that's bad. And really the mindset shift is no, failure is growth. When I fail, now I know and I can move forward and grow and learn from it. So how do you instill that into your team? That failure is okay.
I use myself as the example. I use myself as the victor in those cases versus the victim. We're all going to fail. Anyone who's taking risk, anyone who wants to grow is going to fail. And those that have never failed, they probably haven't achieved much. There has been no success in playing it safe. And this has been proven over and over again. In this current era that we're living in, we're experiencing this government shutdown. People felt that government work was the safest place to work. And now these are the same individuals that are serving our country, serving every single patron, and they're fighting for a paycheck. How safe is that?
Right.
But there's also not much risk in signing up for those types of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
So failure is a good thing if you initiated the process with the right intention.
Yeah, I love that.
If you straight, blind box or blindly go into bird box, I should say, go into some type of project, not knowing what you're doing, no strategy, no research, and you're just winging it, that's not failing. That's just not have learned from enough experiences to have grown.
Right, exactly. Because you're not putting your foot forward. You're not trying and experimenting and all that kind of stuff.
That's it.
So we are we're already kind of at 25 minutes, which is crazy, but I want you to just, what else about leadership? So when I called you and said, hey, I want you to be on this show, and you knew it was leadership legacy, like what were your thoughts? What is it what's your main burning platform or message or anything like that you want to give to the world?
What I'd love to share is, one is, do not take advice from anybody that you would not exchange shoes with immediately. I see that as such a big mistake. So many people are indecisive in what they want to do, and they're looking for confirmation from other individuals. And that's just not as significant anymore. Go with your gut. If anyone's going to pay the price, it's going to be you. Yeah. And you're going to end up paying a pain. You're going to pay a pain for success, and you're also going to pay a pain for the things that you don't have. So choose which pain you want to pay. And I also want to touch base that, you mentioned the title piece. You said a lot of times that leadership isn't a title. I learned early enough that titles are for books, and our whole team recognizes that we all respect one another. We actually work in an open format. All of our offices have 0 corner suites, full transparency. Our executives work out in the field with our new entry-level agents because we believe in rising and falling as one.
Yeah, that's amazing. You mentioned clarity too. So clarity is huge. I know for me in my journey, when I didn't really have a plan for where I wanted to go, it's hard to get there, right? So some of the things that I talk to people about are like, before you do anything with development, figure out who you are and what you want and what you really truly want to go after, instead of living in like this box and playing small and let life dictate to you. So a leadership legacy, to me, when we talk about it, means really taking care of yourself, taking care of the people that are on your team. It's everything that you've talked about. It's why I asked you to be on this series. And I I really, really want to thank you. I think that we've had a great discussion, and I really, really admire how you are out there in the world, just spreading the message and being positive and helping grow and helping rise people up. And so thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I just want to leave your viewers and listeners with this last piece. If anyone's watching this and you're thinking about jumping into a leadership opportunity, taking a risk, going into entrepreneurship, going into business for yourself, just ask yourself, who's stopping you? And if you can't answer that question, jump and do it.
Yeah. If not, what is the saying? If not you, who? If not now, when? Kind of, right? Just life is now. Life is now.
That's it. Who's stopping you? Who's stopping you?
I love that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Oh, last piece. If anyone ever wants to reach out to me, if I can just mention where you can find me.
Absolutely.
Sina, Azari on LinkedIn. I know you're probably going to have the name up there, but I'm also on Instagram under CEO Accredited, as well as Facebook. So I look forward to connecting with you, your listeners, and any value I can provide, please reach out.
Yeah, amazing. Please definitely connect up with Sina. He's all over the place. And when I send stuff out, I'll definitely put all that stuff out there too, so people know where to find you. All right.
You guys be safe. Thank you.
You bet. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk soon. Bye.
My name is Tina Paulus-Krause, and I thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. Check out our programs and events at trueyouteams.com. And until next time, make it an amazing day.